In Altoston, Olivia was busy studying her notes. She had spent months learning about the security system in Altoston. She had learned that all of the cameras, locks, and passwords were all centrally focused at the police station. Because of this, Olivia hoped she could crack the code to get control of the system. Olivia, Miss Abby, and Lydia were no longer staying in the police office. They stayed in a small house that was otherwise beautiful. They were under house arrest. They had been moved there for an unknown reason. Olivia figured that the accusers were worried that if she came too close to the central security system, she would figure it out. Unlucky for them, Olivia had already figured out most of the system. She now only needed to go back there to check that her notes were correct. If so, then Olivia would truly know how to control the central security system. The hard part was that there were over 20 guards at all times surrounding the house. And if Olivia's notes were wrong, that would mean she would have to start over from scratch. Olivia hoped that her notes were correct. She had worked so hard for this. Everything that she needed relied on her having a sense of control over the security system in Altoston. Everything that she needed relied on her having a sense of control over the security system in Altoston. She had some experiences in hacking before, but she had learned a lot in the past couple months. All of this for one goal, to make it easier for Oliver to return and to get them out. Olivia couldn't fathom figuring out a way to get them out herself. It had to come from an outside force. She realized this from studying the layout and actions the accusers took in Altoston. They were much more internally focused than externally focused. All she knew to do was to make it easier for Oliver to get them. This was the main focus of Olivia. Miss Abby would occasionally help her in her ideas, but she would also help in comforting Lydia. Lydia would ask every day where her daddy was. It broke Olivia's heart every time. This heartbreak drove Olivia. She also missed Oliver. She woke up every day that this was a terrible dream, and all would be well. She would always wake up disappointed. After looking over her notes, Olivia began to think that she had a plan. She walked over to Miss Abby, excited. "Miss Abby, I think I have an idea." "Oh, what is it, Mrs. Carnegie?" "If I go to the police station to the central security system computer, I can test my passwords to see if they work. I need you to distract the guards as I try to escape." "Okay, Mrs. Carnegie, although you know I am not that good at this." "That's okay, I just need 15 minutes. Miss Abby agreed, and she left to go to the window. She began to bang on the window and shout help from the guards. A few of the guards walked away from the front door to the window. Olivia reached into her pocket and grabbed her keys. She had been able to find the key to the front door to escape. She grabbed the smallest of the keys and unlocked the door. She then cautiously walked out and away from the house. After she was sure that the guards didn't see her, she sprinted down the street towards the police station. She only had to run for 5 minutes before she arrived at the station. She went to the side of the building where there was a window. She reached into her pockets again and grabbed the biggest key and unlocked the window. She pulled open the window and hopped inside. She only had a few minutes before Miss Abby will run out of ways to distract the guards. She had to act quickly. Luckily, she knew what to do. She had done this before. She landed in a storage room. It was dark. She walked to the door and heard a man's voice. It was the chief of the police, the leader of the accusers. Olivia crouched down and tried to listen to what was being said. All she was able to hear was, "I'll see you tomorrow," which wasn't that interesting. Once the chief walked away, Olivia carefully opened the door and looked to see if anyone was there. It was clear. Olivia entered the hallway and walked around, constantly checking to make sure no one would see her. Eventually, she found her way into the security room. She made sure to lock the door into the room behind her. She walked to the computer and pulled out a note. It was for the password. The password was a 64-digit code and very complex. As she put it in, she then had to use her fingerprint. She was able to trick a guard earlier to put her fingerprint into the system, so she was able to get in. Now that she was logged onto the computer, she saw multiple screens pop up. One of them showed the cameras. It showed Olivia in the footage sneaking in. She deleted the footage. Another screen showed footage of every place possible in Altoston. She was surprised how many cameras there were. She then went over to the settings. She scrolled down and found a button. It said, "Shut down system." Olivia stared at it. It was what she had been looking for all this time. She moved her mouse to it and clicked on it. It popped up, "Are you sure?" on the screen. Olivia selected yes. The computer turned black, but nothing else happened. "Is that it?" Olivia whispered to herself. She figured it was and decided to leave as quickly as possible. As she left the security room, she heard a voice behind her. "Hey, stop there!" Olivia looked back. It was a guard. She sprinted, and the guard followed her. She ran through the hallway. She ran back to the storage room and locked the door behind her. The guard slammed against the door, yelling at her. Olivia slipped out the window and ran onto the street. It was just a few minutes before she was back in her house. As she snuck inside, she saw Miss Abby telling the guards a bunch of things, acting worried. The guards, probably out of sympathy, were listening to the old lady. Once Miss Abby saw that Olivia was back, she thanked the guards for listening to her. The guards then left, looking a bit confused. "Well?" asked Miss Abby. "I know how to shut it down at will, Miss Abby. It was a success." Miss Abby clapped her hands together. "Oh, Mrs. Carnegie, that is great to hear. Should we tell Lydia?" They went over to Lydia, who was playing with a little cloth doll Miss Abby had sewed for her, and told her that Daddy will be here soon. Olivia explained that they found a way for Daddy to get back here easier. Lydia looked super excited and started to talk all about what she wants to do with Daddy once he comes back. It was so sweet. That night, Olivia fell asleep, feeling the most anxious and assured in a long time. She had done so much work. All she hoped for was for Oliver to come soon. That is all she wanted. All she had to do now is wait.